if you're just a positional leader, there is a major negative. And let me give you what that negative is. If you are just a positional leader and you're not developing any more than the fact you have the power, you have the title, you have the position, I'm the boss. Okay, if that is where you are, let me tell you the downside of that leadership. When people follow me, when people follow you because they have to, they don't have any choice. Once they have figured out that they have no choice, that they have to follow you because you're the boss, you're the leader, you got the title. Once they understand that they have no choice, they make a decision. And here's their decision. At the moment they realize they have to follow you, they're not following you because you're a good leader. They're not following you because you're adding value to them. They're not following you. They have to follow you. Once they understand that, they begin to give you very little energy and effort. They begin to ask themselves this question: what's the least that I have to do to keep my job? What's the least I have to do to keep from being fired? And they begin, instead of giving you 100%, they begin to pull back and can I give them 80%? Oh, wow, I wonder if I could give 70%. Ooh, do you think, maybe, could I give 60%? And they'll keep pulling back, and they'll withhold energy, they'll withhold effort from you. That's a fact. They will do as little as possible. So, let's have some fun for a moment. Let me describe to you a level 1 leadership company. This is a company that leads out of title, out of position. Nobody has choices. They got to follow. Okay. If you are a level 1 company, let me tell you what I know about your people. If quitting time, when work is over, is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, if that's quitting time, about 4:30 in the afternoon, everybody's starting to clear their desk. They're, clearing it all off, and you say, why are they clearing their desk? Well, they're clearing their desk because they're 30 minutes away from the most important time all day. They get to quit, and they can hardly wait to quit. When they went to work in the morning, their goal was to quit. The most important thing they thought about all day is 5 o'clock. Yes, 5 o'clock. Free at last. Free at last. So 4:30, they're clearing their desk. Why? Because when 5 o'clock comes, they don't want anything to impede the exit. They want to be able to go. They're done. At 4:45, they get up from their desk, and they're walking around the offices, and they're saying goodbye to everybody. Goodbye. Hey, call me tonight. Give me a call. See you. Good to talk to you. Catch you later. At 4:50, they go to the restroom. They want to be sure to do that on company time. At 4:55, they're back at their desk, but they're not back at their desk to work. No. They're putting on track shoes. And at 4:57, they're counting down. They're ready for the race. 10, 9, 8, 7. And at 5 o'clock, they're gone. They're gone. It's a miracle. You walk through the office and at 5:01 and you say, Where are they? Where did they go? In fact, you run to the window and look out at the parking lot. And when you run to the window, look out the parking lot, much to your surprise, you're seeing the last two cars peel out of the parking lot. How did they get out of the parking lot so fast? When they came in the morning, they took their cars and backed them into the space so they could be ready for a fast getaway. Now, we're having a little fun, but here's reality. If people only follow you because they have to, they will never give you their best. That's a fact. And who can build a great company? Who can build a great organization when people hold back their effort and energy? Who can build a great organization if people aren't giving you their best time and their best minds and their best hands and their best... It's impossible to build a great organization. It's impossible to build a great country. It's impossible to build anything of greatness with a lack of effort. And at level number one, if people follow you because they have to, they're just giving you as little as possible. Now, here's the good news. The good news is you don't have to stay at level one. You can go to level two. It's a choice. What's beautiful about leadership is you can grow as much as you want to. You can go as high as you want to. You see, leadership is a verb, not a noun. If leadership was a noun, all you would have to do is have a title or a position. But it's a verb. It means action. It means influence. It means the ability to take people from one point to another. So let's talk about level number two for a moment. The second level of leadership, the first level is the position level. The second level is the permission level. And I call it the permission level because level number two is based upon relationships. Level number two basically says that now people follow you not because they have to, they follow you because they want to. And there is a world of difference between people following you and me because they have to follow us and people following us because they want to follow us. There's a world of difference between those two. In fact, as you go up each level of leadership in this process of growth, every time you go to another level, there is a major positive plus influence and outcome that happens to you because you went to the next level. At level number one, it's the lowest level. And by the way, this level, this position level here, it's a wonderful place to start. It's a terrible place to stay. And what happens is, leaders who think that leadership is position only, they stay right there. But to go from level one to level two and have people follow you, not because they have to, but have people follow you because they want to, here's where the big plus is. Here's where the big win is. At level two, people give you their energy. At level two, people give you their time. At level two, people begin to give you their heart. If you want 100% out of people, you have to have a connection with them. You have to have a relationship with them. 40 years ago, I made a statement that's quoted all the time. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And level 2 is a relationship where you as a leader begin to connect with the people. And relationships, that's the foundation of leadership. Why? Because true leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And how do you influence people? By connecting with them, by relating to them. Let me explain. If you're a positional leader, you think the people have to come to you. In fact, here's what positional leaders do and say all the time. There's an expression. Now, maybe it's not in Kuwait. I don't know. It's an expression around many countries of the world, but maybe not in Kuwait. In fact, I'll give you the expression, and then you tell me if it's said here, okay? But there's an expression that is given to leaders and leadership often, and the expression is, it's lonely at the top. Now, is that an expression that you get here? Maybe not. Okay. And it's kind of the picture of the leader up on top of the mountain, and all of his or her people are down at the bottom. And the leader's at the top, and he's looking down there and he's saying, oh my, look at them, oh, look at them, oh. It's lonely at the top. A leader never said that. If you're at the top all alone, you're not a leader. No one's following you. If you're at the top all alone, you're not a leader. You're a hiker. You're doing a hike. Because what do leaders do? When leaders see their people, if they're a level 2 permission leader, they don't wait for their people to come up to them. They don't wait for their people to connect to them. You see, if you're a level 2 leader, what you do is you get off the top yourself. And you walk down to where the people are. And you walk slowly through the crowd. And you understand as a leader, you need to connect with the people. Why do you need to connect with the people? Because you can't take people where they need to go until you find out where they are. So the first leadership responsibility is not to say to all the people, come to me, come to me. No, the leader goes to the people and connects with them. And then that leader then only takes people to the top as they're ready. And so when I go back to the top this time, I'm taking people with me. I'm connecting with them. I'm relating with them. I'm bringing them with me. In fact, leaders never cross the finish line first. If you want speed, don't lead. Just run by yourself. But leaders, they're known by the fact they take people with them. So when leaders cross the finish line, they bring people with them. They never say, I crossed the finish line. They said, we crossed the finish line. A few years ago when I did the opening session at the United Nations and spoke to all the ambassadors of the world, they asked me to spend 2 hours teaching leadership. And so I kept asking myself, I've only have 2 hours to teach these world leaders about leadership. What should I teach? And so I went to New York City, and in that opening session, I shared with them what I'm going to share with you right now. I looked at all these leaders around the world, all the different countries, all the different cultures, and I said, let me say something. Wherever you lead and wherever you're from, when people follow you, they ask 3 questions. And these 3 questions are what I call the followers' questions. And when they look at myself or when they look at you as leaders, there are 3 things they're asking themselves. Number 1, do you care for me? Do you care for me? Who wants to follow a leader that doesn't care for a person, that doesn't value that person? Do you care for me? Question number 2, can you help me? In other words, if I follow you, is it going to get better for me? Am I going to go to a higher level, or am I going to be able to do things I can't do? If I follow you, can you help me? Can you help me? That's question 2. Question number 3, can I trust you? If I follow you, are you going to lead with me in mind? Are you going to lead with my interest in mind? Can I trust you? Or are you going to manipulate me? Are you going to use me for your personal advantage? 3 questions. Do you care for me? That talks about a leader's compassion. Can you help me? That talks about a leader's competence. Can I trust you? That's all about the character of the leader. Isn't it interesting, of those 3 questions, 2 of the 3 are all about level number 2 in leadership, relationships. Do you care for me? That's a relationship. Can I trust you? That's a relationship. 2 of the 3 questions that followers ask leaders are all about level number 2. So here's the question. How do we become an effective level 2 leader? Now what I want to do is I want to this evening, on levels 2, 3, and 4, I want to give you 3 things that if you do at these levels, it'll help you become effective at that level. Okay? So this gets real practical, okay? Okay. And by the way, my name's John, and I'm your friend, okay? So look at your neighbor and say, John's your friend. Go ahead and tell them that. John's your friend, okay? I'm going to help you. At level number 2, this relationship level, to be successful, you need to do 3 things well. Number 1 is listen. Listen. Level 2 leaders that are successful listen well. You say, wait a minute, John. I thought you were going to teach leadership. That's what I'm teaching. To be a great leader, you have to first be a great listener. And here's why. Leaders connect with their people. How do you connect with people? You don't connect with people by telling them where you are. You connect with people by finding out where they are. In fact, leaders at level number 2, here's what they do. They listen, they learn, and then they lead. They listen, they learn, and 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 they lead. Great leaders get most of their leadership cues from listening. Now, this was a real weakness in my life as a young leader. I was full of energy and I was full of vision, and I was constantly casting vision and getting people and recruiting people and saying, let's go. And I was constantly talking, teaching, leading, speaking, but I wasn't listening. It was all about get on my train and take my journey and come to my mountain. And I can remember very well a day when one of my key staff members, very, very nicely, but with quite a bit of courage, came and said to me, John, you don't listen well. And I said, sure, I listen well. And I tried to cover it up, and she just smiled, and she said, trust me, you don't listen. In fact, I went home to my wife, Margaret, and I said, hey, one of my staff said I didn't listen. What do you think? She said, I think she's right. I don't think you listen very well. And all of a sudden, I saw a huge weakness in my leadership. You see, if you'll help people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. But your first response is to help people get what they want. How do I know what you want? It's because I walk slowly through the crowd. It's because I listen. It's because I ask questions. I just wrote a book. It came out last October, and it's become a bestseller in America. It's called Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And the whole book is about asking questions. I talk about the value of questions in the book. I talk about questions I ask myself as a leader. I talk about questions I ask my team. It's a book